You can lose, and that's fine. I'll be like, you know what? We got outplayed. We're not good enough. But these players, the least you can do is put in a shift and play hard. And I feel like half the team, especially the senior players, they're not putting in a shift game in, game out. And that includes their captain. And that's what annoys me the most. Like, stop crying, stop flopping, stop complaining, just go and play hard. And I don't feel like we have the personalities in
What does putting
Son,
a
in
shift mean, by the way?
Madison. What's that?
No, stop
What does
doing
putting
this.
a
Stop.
shift
No,
mean,
no,
bro?
no.
No, because I keep hearing step up, putting a
Alright,
shift. What does that
Luke's asking
mean, bro?
you,
Bro,
stepping up
hard.
is when
Get
the
GA,
team
bro.
is
Give
looking to
effort.
someone to
GA.
break down a defense. When the younger players need a leader, stepping up is being that guy. Does that explain it to you?
That doesn't explain how
Basically,
Maddison don't do that, bro.
They want him to be the Palmer of us last season.
Yeah.
Where
Well, so
everyone else
carry-
is
so
there,
carry a
but
team,
he
basically.
No,
can't.
do you know what? Look,
Not to
forget
that
about
level.
Palmer. Let's look at just right now Bruno Fernandes. As much as people don't like Bruno Fernandes as a player and the way that he plays, I think it's been clear to see, especially looking outside, whenever you look at Man United game, who's saving them consistently? It's Bruno. Bruno steps up, he scores a goal, he's taking a long shot. Some people don't like the way he plays because he's constantly doing those long balls. He gets called hero ball, grenade launcher man, and all this stuff. Similar to what we say of Pedro Porro, but he actually gets the job done. He wins Man
Well, for the
United
last
games.
two
He's winning them
games, I
points.
mean,
He
the
also
last. I feel like there's a
loses.
lot of recency bias there. For the last two
We
games,
can't, though,
sure,
but we
yeah,
can't say
but-
that because Bruno's been this for Man United for the last 5 years. Like literally, Man United are the worst.
No, it's really,
Man United are their worst.
start-
And it's always been Bruno.
The start of Bruno's time there, yeah, sure, but he's been kind of.
Even though he's been public enemy number one for a while, I think one thing that has remained is Bruno has saved Man United. You just have to look at like goals and assist wise as well. Like he's getting a goal when they need it. He's getting an
But
assist.
the
He's
GA
player
team don't
getting
work
them-
because if we bring
It
up
don't
Maddison's
work.
GA, you'll bring up the context to
But
it.
no, but the point
The
is
GA thing alone don't work. That's why I don't use it.
GA. The importance of Bruno's GA in particular is he's saving them games. That's the reference what I'm using. So when they're losing and when they're in a terrible place, he's stepping up. Just yesterday, scoring that free kick. What did Maddison do on the free kick against AZ
dude.
Alkmaar, bro?
That was
Let's
the worst
see.
free kick I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's
was
talk about it.
criminal.
Let's talk about it.
What,
It was a bad free
what
kick.
Bruno done yesterday, what did Maddison do? That's the difference.
Okay, here's a question: what would Kulusevski do on the free kick then? What would anyone
don't
else on the
take
team
free
do with the
kicks.
free kick? For what reason?
Pedro,
For what reason?
Pedro Porro can. Pedro, do you know what? Pedro Porro.
No.
Pedro
Don't run.
Porro
For
would've
what
shot
reason?
hammered that.
For what reason does Kudu not
Why?
take him?
Why?
Because he's
not a
dead
set
at free
piece
kicks.
taker.
That's why.
Wait,
Okay,
so be it.
don't-
But Pedro Porro
Maddison
can take
steps up
free
to the
kicks.
plate and tries
Pedro
to create
Porro-
something for the team,
what did
and
he
he gets
do?
slated now.
What did
and
he
now
do?
he gets slated. You
He
see
tried
these
a
double
1-2 on
standards,
the.
man.
Who does a 1-2
double
on
standards,
25
man.
yards out?
But that's
He's
his
double
job, though.
standard.
He's a free kick specialist. He's supposed to be that specialist for us. So if you cannot even take free kicks,
I
then
keep
you're supposed
hearing,
to be a
bro,
specialist.
bro,
Then
and
what?
I remember Jords' stream, yeah, because this is why, because Jords' stream, yeah, my man was doing up the hypocritical thing, bro. My man's doing the hypocrite. Jords, I want you to tell me what you expect me from Maddison. I want you to tell me what you expect from Maddison when he steps on the pitch.
I expect a lot from Maddison. This is the point. I criticize Maddison more than any of our players because my expectation, you can check my tweets when Maddison first come in, I was like, yes, this is the player we need.
Yep.
The guy that's going to be the creator, the guy that's going to pull the strings for Tottenham. And he's not done it. I've been more disappointed with Madders than any other Tottenham fan. So when you talk about when I expect him to step up, I expect him in games like AZ Alkmaar where we're 1-0 down to a stupid own goal from Bergville. Cool, young kid, it happens. Very unlucky goal. But in that game, what was the main problem? We couldn't keep the ball. It's like everyone was making a mistake. Every time we got forward, we're breaking down our own attacks. I look at Maddison to go, do you know what? I'm going to make something happen here. I can't dribble past 5 players, but I can ping together a few passes, whether that's doing a 1-2, and even leading up to that foul, that free kick he won. What did he do? He literally dribbled from the halfway line, took it all the way forward, chopped it inside, beat his man, won the free kick. I was like, great play from Madders. This is what we need to see like every game. I need to see you doing this. And then he does that on the free kick, and the rest of the game, he hides. He does this thing where he's literally just floating.
I hate, bro.
I know you hate when I say
he
he hides because
bro.
he does hide because
so
let me
stupid,
tell you
bro.
how he
It's the
hides.
most stupid shit I've
It's
ever
not,
heard in my
because
life.
how
bro.
he hides is he's a player that naturally, if you watch him, when he wants to play, he comes into that first phase of midfield or the first phase of the pitch, and he'll pick up the ball deep. And then you'll see him. He'll look open. He might do a 1-2 of Bergvall, and then he'll shift himself out onto the left-hand side, sort of wait in the half space areas. But when he's hiding, Maddison is so far away from the bottom of the pitch, because let's have it right, he needs to pick up the ball from there. That's just what needs to happen. He's that type of player. He's
for what reason? Wait. For what? This is
why should he
for
do
what
that?
reason? For what
Because
reason does he?
because why does he do that? Because a guy that pulls the strings, someone that's gonna be a sole creator for their team, does that role. Odegaard,
no, you see, this is the
Odegaard
problem.
for Arsenal
Not always,
drops
Zeke,
deep
not always.
and does it. Kulusevski, when he does it, he drops deep and picks up the ball. How's it double standard?
Bro, this is we're just lying now. We're just lying.
Kulusevski drops deep to pick
not
up the
always.
ball all the time.
No, we're lying.
Not
bro. We're
always
just
though.
lying,
Sometimes
bro.
the ball gets progressed
That's
to Maddison higher up the pitch,
That's
and then he
lying, bro.
creates for the wingers.
But you have to
Some
listen to this
players,
guy,
yeah,
bro. Madison has to go, yeah.
Sometimes rely on
Maddison
the
has to go to the
midfielders to get the ball
centre-backs.
forward for the
Not to the
10s to
centre
create.
back.
But this is what I'm going like. The problem against AZ, right, and even Bournemouth to a certain extent, but Maddison wasn't playing. The problem against AZ, right, is that Archie Gray and Danso would get the ball, right. They're looking for someone to pass to. Everyone's standing about. The right back, left back, midfielders, they're all standing about, not going to the ball, not making themselves open. So what do? They have to kick it long. AZ recycle the ball, and it goes back to them. They quick attack. They don't hold the ball. They quick attack. That's
You know what
that's
that
what
is?
they do.
Who's supposed
that
to
is-
come and
this is
collect
why I
the
always
ball
say-
from the defense?
It should
The
be
midfielders.
Benson Core.
No,
It
This is why I
should
always
be.
say,
No,
yeah,
but this
10
is
to
It
the way
get
of
my
getting
should
it
be,
wrong.
but that's the point. See, this is the problem. This is with all this
If the
this
six
voltage.
is
This is
always
why
going
I'm
to go
blaming
and collect,
tactics.
will the six not get pressed? It's an easy option to go the six coming deep. If Bentancur presents an option and runs that way, then you're going to have a player, someone else, come and press Bentancur, which happens a lot of the time.
Which
When
frees up
Bentancur
space
gets
for another
pressed,
pass. But
and
that's
that's
the
when
point,
Maddison's
though.
supposed to present the option,
But
which
if
he
Bentancur,
doesn't.
but remember, we just said if Bentancur
Hey,
goes
big
to
up
get
to
the
Luke.
ball,
Big up to Luke.
if
Joining us.
Bentancur goes to get the ball, it frees up. That's when Maddison's supposed to come. Maddison's not supposed to drop behind Bentancur and pick up the ball and then recycle play. Then Bentancur gets the ball. Man has to run past back him to go to the 10 and start creating. And because Tell's nowhere to be found because he's invisible, and because Brendan Johnson's nowhere to be found because he's invisible, now he has to make the run into the box and try and score, bro. This is stupid. We don't ask Kulu to do that. We shouldn't ask him to do that, because asking one player to solo squad carry another 10 man on the pitch is ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous. But that's what you're asking. You just said yourself. No.
Drop in deep is not doing a solo squad carry.
No, I've got you in the spider's web. I've got you in a spider's
No. I
web.
don't think you get
You
the role
just
of a
said,
number
Jords,
8. A number
Jords,
8.
I've got you, bro. You can talk your bro.
No,
I'm
because you're not
talking,
gonna
bro.
know, because you're not gonna do this. You didn't listen.
You just
The role
admitted
of
it
the
on
number
cam. I've
No,
got you
because
on
the role
8K.
of the number 8
Chick.
is to pick
got-
up the ball from deep and
Jords,
then
I've got
also
you.
progress the ball. Box to box, it's in the name. If you're playing in that role, then you're required to do both jobs, is pick up the ball from deep as well as make the final third play. Maddison, being a senior player, as we've seen, for one, most of his best play at Spurs has been when he
shouldn't
drops
matter
in
if he's
deeper to
senior,
pick it
though.
up. It does matter when you're senior,
It
because when you're
shouldn't,
senior,
bro. It
you do
shouldn't.
more than your job. Just like if you're senior, no, let's have it right. If you're work for someone, you're a senior guy at your job. At times, when people aren't coming in, someone calls in sick. Are you not doing someone else's job for them?
Exactly.
Because
The
you're
other players
senior.
called
Because you're
in sick.
senior.
They called in sick. You keep
Okay.
falling into this pit
Well,
because
no,
you don't
when
know
these
what you're
players
saying.
call in
They
sick, I mean these
called in
players having
sick.
stinkers. If someone's having a stinker,
Exactly.
they're
So the
calling in
whole
sick.
team's having stinkers, and on top of because the whole team played bad. So on extension, Maddison also played bad, but it's Maddison's fault because he's a senior player. I would have the same energy if we did this to Kulusevski, because we did it last season. We did it last season with Kulusevski. Had the exact same energy. We can't expect my man to solo squad it just because he's being played out of position and the manager's not used him correctly. This season, he's using Kulu correctly. He is shining. But all we've done is done a 180, because last season, Mandem was saying sell Kulu, keep Madders, because Kulusevski's not playing well. They were saying they were smoking Buju alive because Kulu.
No, they don't like how
actual
predictable Kulu is on the right wing. That's all it is. On the right wing,
Exactly.
Kulu, there is
now he's in the middle,
now,
an attacking midfield role, and he was sourcing, right? He was sourcing.
No, but again,
because
like
Kulu was that good of a player. I believe if you put Maddison in a position where you put him in his actual position, and you start him how he's supposed to be
He
played,
plays
he
in
will
his
be
act. No, you
cooking.
can't tell me he doesn't
will
play in his
You
position.
just said he's a box to
No.
box. He plays box to box. You just said he plays.
No,
as
I
an eight.
said no, I didn't. I said
Bro,
as a
Luke,
box
get
to
your guy,
box
bro.
midfielder.
Luke, get your guy, bro. As a
box
love
to
the
box
passion.
midfielder.
I'm crooked in his hairline for him, bro. Like,
No,
you've been doing
as
this
a
ever
box,
since you
as
started.
someone
Bro.
who. This is what you're not
You've
going to
been
do.
doing
Against AZ, he didn't play box to box. He played in the 10 because Bergvall was playing. Bergvall
No,
does
but
the
you
box
expected
while
him
they're
to
playing.
come back and pick up the ball, though. So is that playing in the 10?
Yes, because
No, it's not.
did Bergvall not have a bad game that game?
Everyone had a bad game.
Not
Everyone
everyone,
was bad.
but a lot of players did.
Apart
But
from
Bergvall,
Vicario.
we're
Apart from
focusing
Vicario.
on the midfield in particular. Do you know what? I want to bring Luke in, yeah, because you know what? Luke's. I know he's obviously had some.
I know you have to bring him.
about
You know what I'm
Maddison.
saying, bro.
And
Robin needs
obviously
that, man. I hear it.
Luke is here.
I hear it, bro.
Luke, what are your thoughts on this conversation regarding Maddison, regarding the disappointment, or you know whether he's being used correctly, whether he's not being used correctly? Where do you lean on this conversation?
There's always got to be a little bit of balance on both sides. Whether he's being utilised or he isn't, whether he's being played in his best position or he ain't, he's part of the leadership squad. He's an assistant captain. If you're not being held accountable, then what's the point in being a footballer? He has to be held accountable to be delivering in the big moments. That's the bottom line.
For sure.
You can't be expecting like the same from a Bergvall as a Maddison.
No, I've never said that. I'm just saying that people.
You said that
I think the tactics.
that shouldn't be a difference because he's an experienced.
It shouldn't be a difference in terms of.
It should be.
It should be like the leadership group. No, in terms of being a senior player, in terms of like your age and your experience, sure, like the experience bit, I hear. But in terms of being leadership group, I don't give a fuck about leadership group. There should be a captain, and that's it, really, in my opinion. But that's getting away from your point. And the whole point is
there isn't just one captain though. There's a group in everywhere. Man City,
which is why I hear you in it. But I don't want to get too away from the point you made in it. The whole point is that I don't expect players, right, to overcome bad tactics and perform. I don't expect that. I don't expect that whether it's Bergvall, whether it's Maddison, whether it's Archie Gray, whether it's Kulusevski, whether it's Solanke. In my opinion, the tactics are just bad. We don't play good football. We overcommit in attack, yet we have no one in the box. We can't defend either way. The tactics are just bad. And I put that on the manager.
But see,
I think that's
and we overcommit. If we overcommit and we're putting too many men forward, then surely Maddison should be in his element.
No, because he has no space to operate.
But look,
no. All right, I've got E. Because he said earlier that the options forward aren't good. Like he doesn't have enough options in front of him to play. Like the movement.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Yasser said that. So you can hold that, yeah, with your crooked hair.
Oh no, but did you not sit there and nod your head? You were like, yeah.
I said he was cooking. I wasn't saying he's cooking in terms of that. That's not what I said. Rewind the stream with your crooked hairline. You're not getting away with this, yeah. You're not getting away with this. I never said that.
But you was all agreeing with that point. You agreed with that point.
I didn't agree with that. You can watch back the stream and see it.
So what you're saying is ultimately Maddison needs to, for one, that he needs to be the sole 10 playing in our team. Because if Kulu's there, then will Kulu not take up his space?
I just think we commit too many bodies forward. I just think the fullback shouldn't be inverting. Really, that's really. I thought they should. But
that hasn't been happening. That hasn't been happening. There's so many of these media things about we're doing this and we're doing that. Spence barely inverts. When Spence is playing left wing, he don't invert as a 10 like we used to have last year when we.
He doesn't invert as a 10, but he does invert. And Porro is the one who's more advanced in it. Spence does invert, but he stays back, like he stays back-ish. But he's not. He doesn't sit in the 10. Like Spence don't do that. Porro does that, but so I'm not really talking about. I'm just talking about in general. Like we commit too many bodies forward.
I don't know all of your thoughts on everything, but all I keep being told is Son is being played as a touchline winger. Spence isn't inverting. And Maddison's playing left centre mid. So therefore there should be plenty of space for him. Because one's on the touchline, Spence is behind him. I just feel like we as a fan base, we've got a thing in our heads now where we don't like Ange. So he's playing for everything. There has to be some sort of balance. With Maddison, I like him. I think when the going is good, he is unbelievable. When the going is bad, he ain't the guy you want there. And what Roy King said hit the nail on the head. When you're playing well, you've got a Maddison in the team. He can be super. And I think everyone else when we signed him was like, yes, he's going to be the guy to go to the next level. But this isn't a new thing at Spurs. If he'd only just started doing this, then you could be like, maybe it's the tactics, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But He's been like it everywhere. You speak to Leicester fans, you speak to anyone that's had him, and actually he's like a Defoe when he was at Spurs. He will score 10 in 10, then go do nothing for 5-6 games. That's what Maddison does. He's like a streaky player but that's not what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I hear what you're saying.
His numbers are unbelievable. You look at his numbers and they're ridiculous. But sometimes you can't just rely on numbers for every single thing. Like when you're in, say for instance, we're in the trenches.
Yeah.
Like for instance against Alkmaar, if we had Kulu in the team, I'm thinking Kulu's covering more ground.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah. Kulu's stronger.
I don't believe that at all. But it's subjective, isn't it? But I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I mean, in terms of, Jords can be a testament. I've never used Maddison's GA in order to prop him up because GA is conflated. And we just had the thing about Bruno where even though he's getting GA, I'm slating him. Like I'm watching the game in it. So GA is not a thing between me and Maddison. Also, when you said about the tactics, I understand where you're coming from. Maddison should have the space, but all you have to do is just watch the game and know he doesn't. Like it's that. And I know you watch the games. I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but just when we watch the game, we know Maddison ain't really got the space of that when he realistically should. And